Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all doing good and well. So it's time for a special one-off episode of Dark Horse Discs. This is the last episode for the 2025 calendar year. The series will resume early in 2026, but this is the last kind of, I guess, almost festive episode of the series. And I'm joined by the usual crew here to talk about our sort of dark horse pop queen choices. So what this is this time around, it's a little different from the usual format in that for round one, we're each going to name what our pop queen dark horse album is. But none of us know what we've each picked, so there's an element of surprise this time as well. And then in the second round, we'll name our three favourite songs from each of our choices. In the final round, we'll also have an honourable mention just to make the episode that bit longer, to also, add a little bit of maybe another surprise element to this as well. So yeah, we are gonna name our Pop Queen Dark Horse albums very shortly, and this time round we are gonna start with JC Rock and Metal Reviews for your Dark Horse Pop Queen album.
Okay, my Dark Horse Pop Queen album is, as you can see right here, Lady Gaga with Art Pop. So
Okay.
this is, yeah. So this is, I think it's like her, I guess it's the third album that came after Born This Way. And a lot of people, a lot of critics didn't like it. They said it was, I guess, like because of the name, it was kind of like too like artsy, or she kind of changed her style instead of like that straight like pop sound. She kind of went to more like electronic, that EDM and all like these like different sounds. You hear different influences from like David Bowie and Prince and a lots of like electronic music. So a lot of critics said it was kind of too ambitious, and a lot of people actually say it's like one of her best albums because it has lots of great songs. I think it didn't have like a lot of hit singles. Probably the most popular song would be Applause. But this was a pretty, there are lots of pretty good songs. So when we get to the second round, I'm going to talk about some of like the deeper cuts that were not really big singles. Let me check on their Wikipedia page. I think there were like a few singles like Applause and then Do What You Want and GUI, which were, I think, like lesser known hits. But I think it's a really good album. I think it's a different sound, but I think it's has some pretty cool deep cuts. So I will be talking about that in the next round. So that's my pick again.
I don't
Lady
think I've
Gaga.
listened to that. I don't think I've heard that one actually, thinking
No?
about it.
Oh, okay.
A good choice, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my pick.
and
Yeah.
Hector, your pick.
I don't have it physically, so you have to put the.
I'll put the cover on the on the screen.
With my pick, I'm going back to 1994, where
Ooh,
Madonna released Bedtime Stories.
okay. Yep.
And I went with this at the third round. I'm guessing I'll explain why I think it's a dark horse. So I picked this one because like this came in between like two albums, like Erotica and then Ray of Light. And it's an album that I think like maybe a lot of people like forget about. But I remember this album because first of all, there's a song with Bjork on it that like and Bjork like at that time it was like a crossroads record for Madonna, and I'll explain more in the last round why I picked it and why I think it's a dark
Oh,
horse.
you can say now because in our last round we're doing our honourable mention, so you can say why now if you like, Hector.
I'll explain it. I'll give my full explanation. Okay. So this album by Madonna, Bedtime Stories, is a dark horse because it came in between Erotica and Ray of Light. So if you remember Erotica, I think we people by after Erotica had like a Madonna, like it was like too much Madonna. We needed a break because Erotica was like so sexual, and then she did the erotic book. She did an erotic movie. She did Dick Tracy. It was like we had like an avalanche of Madonna. It was too much. And I was reading that when she was came to this album, she had a lot of like people, she felt like self-conscious, like because like a lot of people were like, "Oh, Madonna." They thought Erotica was the nail in the coffin for her
Mm.
because I don't think Erotica is a bad album, but I think it just was too much. It was like too
Yeah.
much, and like I think she focused too so much on sex that she kind of forgot about the music.
Mm.
And if you Erotica, it has a few good tracks, but I think it has a lot of filler if you think about it. Like,
Yeah, that's almost an is it that bad type choice. Yeah.
is it that it would be a good choice to do a Madonna for Is It That Bad?
Either that or American Life.
I
Well,
don't know
no,
that one very well, but yeah.
I think the last albums by Madonna are worse. So we could do a
Okay.
Madonna Is It That Bad next year.
Mm.
But yeah, I think Erotica, it was just so much that people were having like Madonna withdrawal symptoms. It's like enough. So when it came time to Bedtime Stories, which is our album number 6, she first of all she changed her sound a little bit because this album has a lot of like R&B in it. It was produced by Babyface, so she did like a switch in sound, and it was inspired by that and also some like electronic music uh from Europe. And I think that song by Björk was a hint to come of what was going to be Ray of Light. And to me, to this day, Ray of Light is Madonna's masterpiece. I think that's the best Madonna album ever because it is. She went from all that sex stuff to an album that was inspired by Kabbalah.
Mm.
And remember, Ray of Light was like very spiritual,
Yeah.
great, straight electronics. To this day, I remember when Ray of Light came out, I was like blown away by that Madonna album.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
used to love listening to that as a kid. Yeah.
I thought this is, because it was different, it was better lyrics. Uh, and to this day, she hasn't, in my opinion, she hasn't topped Ray of Light. But bedtime stories kind of gets forgotten a little bit.
Mm.
Uh, and I picked this one. I hadn't listened to this album in a long time. I just remember the singles mostly, but I'm like I listened to it and it has Dark Horse qualities because obviously it came in between an erotica and Ray of Light, so it's like sandwiched in between them. So usually that happens when you have an album that's criticized, then you follow up, and then you have like the best one, the one in the middle. It's the middle child that gets forgotten, and that's why I think it's a dark horse.
Yeah, it sort of slips in between those two albums, Erotica and yeah, Ray of Light, totally. Yeah, so it kind of falls into a bit of a black hole. Good choices so far. Rocco, what's your pick? I'm excited to find out what yours is now.
Yeah, so I actually had a different album picked, but I made that my honorable mention.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I know your honorable mention. Yeah.
yes, yes. So my chosen artist is Linda Ronstadt, the most successful female singer of the 1970s. However, that didn't come until the latter half of the decade. Before that, she was a country rock artist who did score two moderately big hits, but still wasn't exactly a superstar. Her last album prior to blowing up was 1973's Don't Cry Now, which is my pick. It wasn't a change in sound like the Lady Gaga or Madonna albums. It was still a country rock album like Linda had already been making for a few years. While it was a critical and commercial success, being certified gold in the US, all of her albums for the rest of the 1970s were certified platinum or higher. I think Don't Cry Now is underappreciated in a commercial sense. It is often regarded as one of her better albums, but it just didn't have any hit singles. It is a really good album. It's paced really well, and of course, the vocals are top tier. I think she was one of the best singers of the entire decade, period. So I will list my three favorites in the next round.
Good stuff. Yeah, three. I like these two choices so far. So my choice now, we are going to the eighth studio album from Colombian singer-songwriter. Probably guess who this is, right?
Shakira, Shakira.
Shakira. Yep. Was She-Wolf. You know, who remembers that song and video as well from 2009, I think it was.
Oh,
Was
with
it
her
released?
climbing around the cage.
Yeah, with her, yeah, showing off all her moves and gymnastics and And that chorus was constantly stuck in my head. There's a she-wolf in the
In the
clouds.
cloud.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah. And this was this was her eighth studio album, but her third English language album overall. And apparently this was her least sort of least successful selling album up to that point. Because obviously you had a massive album like Laundry Service, you had the Oral Fixation albums, I think, which were the English language ones, and she had a few other Spanish ones as well prior to then. And this was felt by fans as a bit of a departure from her more Latin sound, I think. It was more electronic. Um, and it was, I think, also partly because it was less commercially successful that it has been slightly forgotten about in Shakira's career. Um, Besides the lead single, I think the lead single had quite a lot of success, but the rest of the album certainly doesn't really. I don't think the other singles were very successful either. You did have, yeah, so more of a departure from that signature sound, I think, was mainly the reason why. And it just came outside of, I think, the period when she sort of had that sort of, when everyone was talking about her because of big hits like Hips Don't Lie. And, I think it's a lot of the songs from her Laundry Service record as well, which were really big hits. So I feel like everyone was talking about her back then more than they were in the late 2000s. But I do remember She Wolf and the video for that. But I thought this one, it kind of just falls a little bit into that gap again of her career where not as many people were talking about She Wolf. So yeah, and I've always quite enjoyed that one, particularly because it's more electronic and kind of my style too. So yeah. All right, so we move on to our three favorite songs and go back to JC for Lady Gaga's Art Pop.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick I'll pick like three like lesser known songs towards the end of the album. So we have one song called Mary Jane Holland, and this is just a typical dance and synth pop song, but it's all about her like smoking marijuana when she went to Amsterdam, and like she like smoked a lot when she got there, and she was like really high, and she said it was like a way of like just getting away from the pressure of being famous. But then after that is another song called Dope, and this is like part two of this, and it kind of like talks about like the negative aspect of just smoking the marijuana and doing drugs and all that, how she became addicted for a while and she became paranoid and just like not being like as articulate. So this song Dope, it's more of like this like stripped down piano song, and her vocals are just they weren't like processed, or they just used her vocals like they wanted her to sound like almost like intoxicated, or using like slurring her voice just to show that like what she was going through. So it's kind of like the darker song, where the first song is very upbeat and just like a fun song. Then the second song is more like kind of like coming down, like that type of song. So that's why it's kind of like a two-part song. And then the third song, I'm just going to pick the song right after it, called Gypsy. This is just a very fun Euro pop, electro pop. There's some classic rock influences, lots of great hooks. It's just a sing-along song. Like, she's still being Lady Gaga. She's not losing her pop style. It's just a very upbeat song. It's about traveling the world and like the loneliness associated with it. So she's talking about being a gypsy, and it shows how all her fans are like people who are like all around the world. So they're coming from all these different parts. So it's really like she's just like someone who like is going like all around the world. So that would be my third trick. And these songs are all in a row. Tracks like 11, 12, and 13. And track 14 is the song Applause, but that's like the more straightforward Lady Gaga song, which is a good song, but that's like the most well-known one. So those are my three picks.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Hector, your three picks from Madonna's bedtime stories.
I have four. just to
You
give
have
it an
four. Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
Cool.
go for it. Go for it. We're not being that strict here.
So the first one I mentioned, it wasn't a single. I picked one that, and it's called "I'd Rather Be Your Lover." And it's interesting because in the song she's like, "I want to be your mother" or something, and then she's like, "But I'd rather be your lover." I'm like, whoa. And
Going down a Freudian route there.
yeah, but you know, it's straight Madonna. It's a great catchy song. But
Mhm.
this album, I think she picked the awesome singles, except there's only one single that I'm not gonna talk that I think I kind of don't like that song. And that one's Take a Bow. I don't know. That song to me, it's so annoying. It's like I've heard it so much that no. That one ends the album. But I picked another one that was a single that I didn't I thought that I thought that was in another album. And I was like, oh, and it's called Secret. Like they're like, ooh, something's coming over me. My baby's got a secret. And that one has, I like that one. That one kind of like has like a vibe of her 80s stuff a little bit, but with a more modern sound. And I think with Erotica, she forgot about her 80s sound too much. And maybe I think that's why some fans like were like, okay, that this is too much. So Secret, that's a great song. It was a great single. I picked Human Nature, which was another of the single. And that one is important because in that song, she's basically talking about the backlash that erotica had. For example, there's a part that it says, like, I'm not your bitch, don't lay your shit on me. And she also talks about express yourself to repress yourself. So she's talking
Yeah.
about like sex, but she's talking about hey, I got you don't all that stuff on me. It's your issues, not mine. So I thought it was a great song, and also that song has like an R&B, but like almost hip hop style to it with electronic, which I thought was good. I remember the music video. It was Madonna in a chair with like a leather suit and like hands going over her and dancing. It was a great video, except. The only thing bad about the video is that Madonna decided to have cornrows, and I'm sorry, white people. Cornrows are not a good look for you. But that's a great song. But my favorite song in the album is Bedtime Story, the song that she collaborated with Björk. That song was so different from anything that Madonna had done at that time. And the music video, I remember, I think it won an award in MTV because it was like very visual. It's like Madonna's in a dream. And it's like a stream of consciousness. She's like, let's get unconscious, honey. So it's like almost like a trip. And I believe that song inspired her to go in a more electronic route for Ray of Light. So I think, yeah, Bedtime Story is by far the best track on this record. So those are my picks.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And we go to Linda Ronstadt right next.
Don't cry now. Yeah.
Don't cry now.
My three picks are in order. The fast one, which is a great, barn burner, as the country people call it. My second pick is "Don't Cry Now," the title track. Great ballad, some amazing vocal harmonies, and then my maybe my favorite song on the album is "Sail Away," which is a cover of a Randy Newman song. And as much as I enjoy Randy Newman's songwriting, he is not known for having the most pleasant voice. But Linda adds a lot to the song, making it sound almost romantic when the actual topic of the song really, really isn't. Um, yeah, like I said in the first round, just top tier vocals across this album. So yeah, I didn't have a lot written down for these, but those are my picks.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so I guess that moves us back to me for Shakira She-Wolf. I had to pick, I know it's such an obvious choice, but I had to pick the title song because I mean that was what got me into the album anyway. So yeah, just a great song. I also really like Why Wait, which sort of have this slightly industrial kind of beat to it and groove, which is a good song. And I also really enjoyed Men in This Town. where she's singing "Where Are All the Men in This Town," um, and it's got this amazing bridge section to it as well, where she kind of goes really high in this falsetto type section, and I thought I really liked the way that the song switched up to that, and it was really like, yeah, a really good moment in the track too. It's like that's probably my third favorite choice on the record. So yeah, um, and there are a few other good ones as well on here. I like Mon Amour. Um, I quite like Did It Again, which is another single on the record too, and that's a pretty good one too. So yeah, we go now to the third and final rounds. And obviously, we've all had our main choices here and we've been through those already. So this could be more interesting in a way, what we've chosen as our honourable mentions. So JC, what's your honourable mention pop queen dark horse?
All right, my honorable mention will be Alanis Morissette with
Ah,
so-called Chaos from 2004. So we know she's mostly known for Jagged Little Pill, and then after that, she had another one with a few hits, and she was on that song "Uninvited," which was on the soundtrack. I think it's called "City of Angels" or one of those. But throughout the 2000s, she continued to put out albums, and I think this one got mixed reviews. But I think it has some pretty good songs. It has a couple singles. It has like Everything. It has Out Is Through. It has 80 Easy Steps. So it's more of like a kind of like a back to basics kind of album for her. It's kind of a little more pop. It's not as dark as Jagged Little Pill, but it's basically just a good album that really didn't get like great ratings. I think it's
yeah,
just
I was looking
yeah,
at it now.
it,
Yeah,
it, it was really like overlooked just because I don't know. I think like she like wasn't really she was like losing popularity by the 2000s came around. She kind of like went through a period like of the mid 90s to the early 2000s, but then by then she wasn't getting a lot of attention. So I think this one deserves more attention, and for that reason, it's my honorable mention.
yeah. Got 4 stars from allmusic.com, apparently.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah. Most of
Alanis.
the ratings are like three to 4 stars. Some
Yeah,
gave it two.
yeah.
Rolling Stone gave it two. I mean, yeah,
I
yeah,
I have to say, I saw Alanis Morissette in concert last year. She still got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure she
great,
does. Yeah.
great performer. And I feel like she's kind of gotten a bit of a comeback because Olivia Rodrigo's a big fan. So there's this like increase in awareness of her.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
He writes good songs, so yeah.
All
So
right. So I'm feeling Hector's next, and I'm feeling a left field choice coming up. One that
okay.
none of us are expecting. I've just got a sixth sense about this.
So I'm kind of cheating because it's not I picked a man,
Pop
but
King.
Mm.
but he is gay, so like
George Michael.
so it could
George
work.
Michael?
So I'm picking my Puerto Rican Ricky
Oh, I know who it is. Yeah.
Martin,
Ah,
Uh,
and not the album. It's not the English album.
Okay.
So Martin, in 1970s, he when he left Menudo, he started. He was in a telenovela, but he has an album. There was an album called Vuelve. That one was very popular because that one there was a song picked for the soccer thing. But I'm picking the one before it, which is called A Medio Vivir. So yeah, that's a great album by him. That's where he started doing like some dance stuff. He had a hit there with a song called Maria. But Tom, there's a great song there that I think you would like it, even if it is Spanish, called Fuego de Noche, Nieve de Día, which was written by Robbie Draco Rosa, who was in Menudo, but not, he's like he plays some rock now, but he was like Ricky Martin's best friend.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote that song, Fuego de Noche, Nieve de Día. It's a great ballad, and it's about this girl that has mental issues. So she's like, in the night she's like fire, and in the day she's depressed. Hence the snow. So
Yeah.
it's a very good album. Obviously, it's the whole album is in Spanish, but you get hints of like what he was gonna do. So yes, Ricky Martin, A Medio Vivir, and he had long hair back then.
Yeah, I was just going to ask when did this come out? Was it what was the year?
This came out in 19, I think it was 1995.
Okay, so before what was it? Living La Vida Loca. I can't remember the name.
That came in
Yeah,
1990.
That was later.
that was
Yeah,
like 2000, right? Yeah. Yeah.
but the album after that, Vuelve, is his best album, in my opinion.
All right. Maybe I should check that out. Cool. And I know Rocco's choice, but go on, reveal.
Actually, I just remembered that I have it on a physical copy. So while I look for it, Tom, do you want to go first?
Shall I go next? I'll go next. That's cool. All right. So I think my choice is somewhat predictable because I reviewed her latest record, which came out earlier this year, Perimenopop. This is her fourth studio album called Make a Scene. It's Sophie Ellis-Bextor. And by this point, I think no one, like people had jumped off the Ellis Bextor bandwagon because her earlier albums, particularly Read My Lips, were her most popular with her most commercially successful singles on. So by the time this came out, I think a lot of people just probably weren't listening to her music. And I only really came to discover this album, I'll admit and confess, quite recently. But when I looked at all the reviews, the reactions to this, particularly the critics, really kind of did give this pretty low ratings. So I think if you look up the reviews on Wikipedia or the ratings, you can see it didn't get a good reception at all. And I think it's because it's a departure from what people might call more of a sophisti-pop, sophisticated pop music sound that you might associate with those earlier records. This is more dance, straight up dance pop, but it's got some bangers on. It's some really good like songs that could have been hit singles, I think, had she been bigger at that time. So there's a one, two, three. I think like JC, I think you had three tracks in a row on your choice. Like it's the
Yeah.
same with me for this. Like not giving up on love. Great video as well for that one. Can't fight this feeling. And Starlight, they're sort of all back to back on here and really good. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see the track list there. So yeah, 5, 6, and 7, worth checking out. And yeah, that is my honourable mention Dark Horse Queen pick. Sophie Ellis-Bextor, Make a Scene. And I actually think now Rocco's back that Rocco would like this one. I think Rocco would enjoy that.
Okay. So I could not find the copy I had in mind, but I do have something related to it. So my honorable mention is Solar Power by Lord, but because I don't want Tom getting demonetized, I'm going to show um, not the actual album cover. This is a sort of an EP that came with the album. This is a
Hector and
couple of
JC are
songs.
now going to look for the actual album cover.
Oh no, Hector knows the actual album cover. So this was an EP that came with the album, where she's from New Zealand. She performed some of
Yeah.
the songs in the Maori language.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But as for the album proper, it was very divisive on release because it was the follow-up to what a lot of people call one of the best pop albums of the 2010s.
Mm.
And she's been doing something different with each album. So this one is sort of an acoustic, kind of early Joni Mitchell type of album where she reflects on her fame. And it was very divisive because, the production wasn't very elaborate. It was very stripped back, and the lyrics were a little bit weird. But the album does have its defenders, myself included. I saw her on that tour, and there are a lot of really sad songs on the album, which is interesting because I guess the label didn't know how to advertise it because the label was like, "Hey, this is a fun, sexy beach album with an environmentalist message." And then you listen to the album, and it's like uh, I thought I was a genius, but now I'm 22, and a lot of songs about like kind of sad moments.
Mm,
I mean, the whole thing isn't sad, but there's more of it than I think people would have thought based on how it was advertised. Like I said, it does have fans, but I think it is better than people gave it credit for. Um, I have, unfortunately, recommended this to people who still didn't like it. Um, it's not for everyone, but I think it is worth giving a chance.
I
yeah.
haven't listened to it, but God bless that album cover. I'm like, where's she from? Is she British?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, actually, New Zealand women and Puerto Rican women have something in common.
Yes.
Hmm.
It's, well, but that album cover is misleading because if you see that album cover, I wouldn't assume it's a sad record.
Yeah, that's my point. So
That's true.
she had like a photographer friend like lay on their back and point their camera up at the sky, and she just jumped over them, and she was just like, "Oh, I like that photo. Let's use that for the cover." Like she wasn't even thinking about like how people were going to react, although there were a lot of like funny memes when the album cover was revealed.
Yeah,
Maybe
I can imagine.
people would buy it just because of the cover alone.
You know what? If you went to a record store to buy it, you would see a lot of them have like stickers over it for like censorship. In the same way that Nirvana's Nevermind did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Yes. And I have been enjoying that Pure Heroine album.
That is,
That's your
I've said this before on my
yeah.
channel. That is my favorite album of all time. I know everyone says her second album, Melodrama, is her best, and that album's a masterpiece, but I love Pure Heroine dearly.
Yeah. What was her most recent one called?
Virgin.
That's what I haven't listened to that yet. Was that this year?
That, yeah, that was this
That was
year.
this
That was
year.
back
Yeah.
in July, I think. That one's actually really good.
I listened
It's
to
short. It's
parts.
like 35 minutes, but it's really good.
Yeah,
Okay. All
two
right.
parts. Yeah,
What?
I listened to some parts of her last album, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't my. I'm like, no.
I'll say this much. I They sound amazing when she performs them live.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Pure Heroine sounded great. I think I listened to Melodrama a few years ago, and thought that was good. But yeah, I meant to revisit it, so I probably will still revisit it because I
Oh,
might.
that would not be a dark horse pick.
Oh yeah, no, no, not as a dark horse.
Everyone loves that album.
Not as a dark horse, maybe. All right, so yeah, so those are our dark horse or Pop Queen Dark Horse disc selections. We've now run through all of those, so yeah, I guess that is the end of the Dark Horse disc series for this year. But we will return in January with Paramore and their debut album we're going to be talking
Yes.
about. So
All I know
excited.
is falling.
Yes, that was a very popular pick on my poll as well. It completely like annihilated the other choices there.
A
It
lot
was
of
like,
people like Paramore.
yeah, a lot of Paramore fans out there, obviously. So we're starting the series again in 2026 with that episode. And just to go around very quickly for, I guess, just what's coming up on the channels, which I've been doing. So I may as well carry on doing this to finish things off. So, JC, what have you got coming up on your channels, plural?
Yeah, my next video, which I was just like editing it, and I'll probably upload it pretty soon as of this recording, which is Sunday morning for me. I don't know when you're putting this one up, but it's going to be like a best of November metal albums, but like the first half, only because I didn't really like do my weekly series like last week. I was too busy to do it, so I did kind
Yep,
of like I'm doing a wrap up of the first 2 weeks of November. So I have a top 10 with five honorable mentions. So that's a pretty good video, and that's going to go up on Sunday morning, probably about like 30 minutes as of the time of this recording. But that's what I have. And as always, I just reviewed the recent album by Cheap Trick, which is a pretty good album. And other than that, just my normal stuff. just retro reviews. I'll just see what I can do. I'll be doing stuff throughout the rest of November, and then in December I usually do my like end of the year stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
that's about
feel
it.
like I
Yeah,
start preparing for the year end stuff in November because you have a long list usually.
yeah.
Take
I kind of start like I already made like a spreadsheet,
yeah.
and then up to November, and then yeah,
That's what I do. I do a spreadsheet as well to try and keep track of
yeah,
everything that I've listened to and try and revisit it. But there are so many albums, so like,
yeah.
do I revisit that one? And yeah, it can take a while. Hector, what's coming up on the couch?
So when is this airing? Is this airing in
So I was
December?
going to put this up not this Tuesday, but the 25th of November.
Oh, so the
Okay.
25th of November. So that's close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So the 27th of November, we have the Is It That Bad for Kid Rock, which is an episode that's coming out the same day that we put out the first very episode of Is It That Bad. So
Which was
that
Okay.
also a Kid Rock album.
for the what?
Which was also a Kid Rock album.
Which was also a Kid Rock album. So that's why
Yeah.
we picked, and Rocco said the date because I don't keep a spreadsheet.
Well, you got to keep spreadsheets, Hector. What's going on?
I work in data entry. Spreadsheets are kind of my thing.
So, yeah, I work in HR. That's why I'm good at interviewing people because I do it for a living.
Makes
So
sense.
now you know. So also, and after that, we have an episode that we filmed a few days before, which is the final episode for Isn't That Bad this year, and it's the Wheel of Bad, which will air the first Sunday of December, December the 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm warning people, it's 1 hour and 52 minutes. So it's the longest video I've done on the channel. So
Bring
you can,
snacks.
yeah, you can read stacks. You can watch it my fiance told me, why don't you divide it in two episodes? Like they can like start watching it, hit pause, go to a bathroom, like
Yeah, well, yeah, YouTube lets you go back to like where you left off usually. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so, yeah. So it's one episode, and of course, and before that, the Sunday before that, so the last Sunday of November is going to be my top 15 bad albums of 2025. I had 10, but I'm like, there's so much shit that I'm adding 5 extra ones.
there was a lot this year.
Place your bets, people. Where's Dogville going to end up?
I reckon 7 or 8. I think the artwork gets some extra points for me.
Is something out there. Yeah. So that's what's coming up.
Yeah, that Wheel of Bad episode was epic. It was epic.
Yeah.
There's some
Poor Tom. We
twists.
made him stay up to 2 a.m. to record
Yeah,
that.
but there are good twists in it. So I feel like even though it's a long episode, people should be hooked because of the twists. It's like a good film. You get some good twists in
You
there.
never know there's a lot of there's like cliffhangers.
Yeah.
There's like plot twists. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Lots of surprises in there. Okay, Rocco, Rock of all ages.
Yes. So, towards the end of the month, I will have 2 different episodes on System of a Down, and I am very excited about those. They're short episodes, but I feel like they are good episodes. So stay tuned for those. And then December, oh man, I have a lot of stuff planned for December. Stay tuned.
Are we going to get a year-end list video?
Probably not.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that leaves me then. So yes, I mean, November, I haven't really got too many videos planned actually for this month. I've got quite a lot of year-end content lined up though. But for this month, I think my biggest video is probably my top 10 metalcore albums, which I'm thinking if not next weekend, it'll be the last weekend of November that I put that one up. So I have the list pretty much ready to go. I'm just kind of listening to those albums again, and just kind of checking that I think they're definitely my top 10 metalcore albums. And otherwise, possibly the odd album review. And then obviously, yeah, the year-end list content stuff usually takes over on my channel. I think my year-end list is probably going to be published 8th or 9th of December. I usually plan it quite carefully. And I've got the week off work actually before then, so I can record, got lots of time to do recording, editing, all that stuff. Um, and yeah, and on Tom's Team of Horror, still got this Halloween franchise ranking, which I wanted to do actually a couple of weeks ago and just haven't gotten around to it. So it's a bit late. But yeah, there'll be 13 films, and I will hopefully get that recorded today. And that will be going up on Tom's Tomb of Horror next weekend. Do sub to Tom's Tomb of Horror. It's feeling a bit lonely at the moment. It's only got the Tom's Tomb is a bit empty of horrors at the moment. So go sub to Tom's Tomb if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it from us, I think, for this episode. So yeah, really, really excited about the albums we got lined up for Dark Horse Discs in the new year. There's some cracking Dark Horses in that list, I think. Some choices, a couple of choices from me. They're all picks from different people as well, which is really good. So looking forward to that in the new year. But otherwise, from me and my guests, till next time, it's bye for now.